Our next guest on the California Matters program today is a man who came here over 20 years ago. He lives in Petaluma in Northern California, some 25 miles north of the city of San Francisco. John Crowley has been working in software. These days he's actively involved and in fact has created a whole community in his hometown.
So right now we're outside my cafe. It's called Aqus Café, Foundry Wharf here in Petaluma. Opened about 8 years ago, 2006. And it's what I like to think of as a local community centre, the meeting place, the third space, if you will. So the whole concept of your third space, your first is your home, your second is your work, and your third is anywhere where you kind of feel a sense of belonging, a sense of place, where you connect with other human beings and create community. And that's the intention of this place. Of course, it's got to have great coffee and great tea and great beer and wine and great sandwiches and food, but the purpose of it is really to be a gathering place, a community centre. There's a pub in South County Dublin called the Magic Carpet, and that's where I grew up in. Pulled my first pint of Guinness when I was 12. I think I started working in the bar about when I was 12. Worked in the wine shop, worked in the lounge, worked as a lounge boy, I guess. Worked pretty much everything there, and that's where a lot of my roots and a lot of why I do the things that I do stems from there and what I saw there. A little place called Petaluma, about an hour's north of San Francisco, in what is considered the wine country. Back then, 20 years ago, it was very much an agricultural community. We had been known as the chicken capital of the world, producing something like 40 million eggs a week or some incredible number. I can't remember exactly what the statistic is, but that's what it was back probably about 50 years ago. It was the chicken and egg capital of the world. And was going through a change, I guess. It was not quite a bedroom community for San Francisco, but close enough to San Francisco. Had a lot of charm about it. I'd been living in downtown Frankfurt, Germany for 8 years, and suddenly moved to Petaluma, California, where we literally did have cows and chickens as our next door neighbors. The train used to come up here, and all the goods that were created here got loaded onto the trains and then onto barges down the Petaluma River to San Francisco and the world, I guess. A lot of what was made here for about a period of about 20, 30 years, the First World War, were stoves for the US Army. I have a small software design company, software design and production. We do reservation systems, airline reservation systems for cruise lines. But also what I do in this office is spend a lot of time on Aqus community, building community. What the other part of our business is building community. We're probably one of the first companies on the planet where our main mission statement is to raise social capital and build community locally wherever you are. So we kind of haven't figured out a lot about that company yet, but we know our mission and we know what we're supposed to be doing, and the rest will follow. I didn't want to make it specifically like an Irish pub because there's parts of that aren't that great. You know, when I grew up there, you could smoke cigarettes there, you could do a whole bunch of things. It was mainly centered around the alcohol. And I didn't want that to be the case in this cafe. I wanted it to be centered around community. The kind of place where there's a lot of different activities and programs for every walk of life. I have some friends of mine who are in AA, and they have told me that this is a wonderful place to just come in, have a cup of tea, and there's no pressure to have alcohol, and they can have the whole evening here quite happily without drinking any alcohol at all. Even just looking at this week, tonight we've got bluegrass jam session. If you play bluegrass, and you can come out and play. The night before that we had a lecture on cultivating compassion. The night before that I think we had games night, come and play cribbage. The night before that we had a lecture series on science. So again, very, very varied. We have mainly music. We use music for gathering people. Music is a great way of gathering people in a community, listening to music where people get to know each other. But on the other hand, we realize also that we also can provide for I guess, the intellectual side of things and the more spiritual side of things, because there's many aspects to a person. You know, there's mental, there's spiritual, there's physical, there's emotional. And we try to provide as best we can for each of those aspects of a person.